Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well and welcome back to the Baking Analyst channel. On this channel, we cover everything from cryptocurrencies to personal finance to economics with a focus on DeFi and yield farming as a wealth generation tool. So if that sounds like something interesting to you, do consider subscribing to this channel and leaving a like. Now today's video marks the launch of a new beginners series thanks to popular demand and basically me reading the comments and seeing that a lot of you are brand new to DeFi. So if you're completely new to DeFi and you're wondering how on earth these people are staking cryptocurrencies, earning a passive income on their assets in the ranges of triple-digit APRs, there's a free knowledge resource, a free online course down below in the description that you can access with a free trial of Skillshare, cancel at any time, and it'll come at no cost to you whatsoever. So let's jump right into today's video. Today we're going to talk about a common mistake that newcomers to DeFi make, which is to make swaps on exchanges with poor liquidity, leading to poor execution prices and them losing money. This video is made in partnership with a project called CrowdSwap, which we'll be covering in more detail later. They aim to solve this problem, among others, across different blockchains, so definitely something interesting to look out for. In the previous video on Finance, I showed you this slide. Essentially, this slide illustrates what you need to understand about liquidity. So we use the analogy of a trader at a farmer's market. Why not? Because we're all yield farmers anyway. That has 5 apples and 5 pears and determines prices of each fruit depending on the relative scarcity of that fruit in his inventory. So let's say there are 5 apples and 5 pears, so he views it that 1 apple is equivalent to the price of 1 pear. And so let's say someone comes along and says they want to swap 2 apples for 2 pears at the prevailing price. What happens is that they deposit 2 apples into the apple pile and take out 2 pears. The farmer has determined that the prices of an apple relative to that of a pear is determined by the relative scarcity or the relative ratios of the supply of each asset in his inventory. In this case, what happens is now that there are 7 apples in inventory and 3 pears, we see that instead of a 1-to-1 exchange rate from apples to pears, we now see that an apple is only worth 3/7 or less than half of a pear. However, if there's more liquidity in the pool, this story changes. Let's say this trader at the farmer's market has 100 of each fruit. An apple trades for the same price as 1 pear simply because there's an equal number of apples and pears in the pool. If this same person comes along and says, I want to just dump my 2 apples and take out 2 pears because that's what I prefer eating for dinner tonight. After the farmer agrees to the trade, he then finds that, 102 apples is, in his view, the same worth as 98 pears, which means that the exchange rate of an apple is now worth 0.96 pears, which is a considerably better price, which provides a considerably better price for other traders on the market to sell an apple for a pear as compared to in the previous example where liquidity was low. And to perfectly illustrate this mistake that a lot of newcomers to DeFi make, I'm going to be looking at the Harmony 1 blockchain simply because it is considerably more obscure than the more established blockchains like Matic, Ethereum, and Binance Smart Chain. When you're looking at this exchange, we can see that the TVL is very, very low. The total value locked, or the total amount of liquidity deposited in this decentralized exchange, is very low. It's only $222,000, which is nothing compared to DEXs with billions of dollars in liquidity locked. So if we try to execute a swap from say 1 to USDC, and even though this transaction will still go through, I am getting a very bad price for it because you could think of it as there are not many apples and pears in this pool. Whereas if I go over to a DEX with much more liquidity and I try to execute the same trade, I get more USDC as compared to when I swap at LootSwap, for example. So you might think, well, as long as I don't tinker with the slippage tolerance and the transaction just reverts if I get too bad a price, it should be okay, right? It's not going to be a significant amount. On this channel, we consider that every single dollar that you lose has an opportunity cost. So we know that our APRs that we discuss on this channel are really high. They're in the triple digits. So when you lose, let's say $100 on a trade simply because of bad pricing, what you're losing is not just that $100, it is also the yield that you could have gotten on that $100, let's say in a year if you were to compound it daily. And if I'm doing my guesstimations right, that would be equivalent to losing almost $200 additional of yield. So definitely these losses and opportunity costs are actually pretty expensive to us yield farmers. And that's where the partner of today's video, CrowdSwap, comes in. CrowdSwap is a relatively new project out of Germany that is looking to solve this problem among other things. So as we can see from their website, we find that they have acknowledged the problem that we've been discussing earlier in this video, that it is very difficult to find the best prices across so many different dexes. I mean, look, if you go onto vfat and you look up all the different AMMs or dexes on, say, a relatively popular network like Phantom, for example, you see that there are just so many to choose from. Are you really going to go through every single one and try to find the best price? Well, no, right? CrowdSwap aims to solve this by being a one-stop shop to allow you to swap your tokens at the best possible price. So as we can see from their current app, I'm currently on the Polygon mainnet, for example. Let's say I wanted to swap 10,000 Matic tokens to DAI stablecoin. We find that they have integrated the major dexes on the Polygon mainnet, and you can get the best price on QuickSwap, so it automatically finds the opportunity for you. And as we can see, you're actually saving about $50, which might not sound like much given that it is about 0.3% of your initial investment. However, once this project starts expanding to other chains that have less liquidity on it than established ones such as Polygon, then you're really going to start to see these differences in exchange rate add up. So as we can see, this is the current problem that they're solving. CrowdSwap is also looking to launch a Cross Chain Liquidity Pool, or CCLP, in the imminent future. And as we covered in the beginning of this video, we saw that liquidity in a system is so important in terms of getting the best prices for your trade. So by bringing this liquidity cross-chain, what CrowdSwap aims to do is to ensure that, whichever chain you're on, even though it's a new chain that is relatively young, what they can do is they can offer better prices compared to the opportunities on any one single chain through this cross-chain liquidity pool that they are able to provide. And while this might sound similar to things like bridges or aggregators like 1inch, what CrowdSwap is really looking to do is to simplify the whole experience for beginners to DeFi. You just go to this one-stop shop, make the trade, and you don't need to fiddle around with bridging your tokens across chains, swapping it there for the best rate, and then bridging it back, for example. And of course, one thing that I liked about CrowdSwap and their team, again, and the reason why I agreed to feature them on this channel, is that, well, as we can see, their team is completely doxed. You can check out the LinkedIn pages of all these people. As you can see, all these C-suites, advisors, as well as developers. So all in all, a pretty promising project that is currently in the early stages of development. We can see that they also have a token public sale that's coming soon. We will look at that in due course. But in the meantime, I hope that this first installment to the beginner series that we'll be continuing on this channel has been informative to all you newcomers to DeFi that I've seen coming onto our course and coming onto our channel in the comments. So if you like this kind of video, do remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, check out CrowdSwap in the description below, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.